Good evening. As you just heard, I'm Anna Petoniak, and I'm honored to say a few words about Consecration Sunday and to share a little bit of my own story. As you just heard, Consecration Sunday is coming up on November 13th. Through the next 3 weeks, parishioners like myself will speak briefly during services about stewardship. Consecration Sunday is when we consider how to dedicate our money, ourselves, and our lives to God's holy purposes. We as a community will go through this process together, asking ourselves, what percentage of my income is God calling me to give? We hope you'll join us for worship every Sunday, but especially on November 13th. As Ava mentioned, there'll be festive gatherings following the 9, 10, 11:15, and 6 p.m. services, and I hope you'll join those too. Like many of you, I treasure the quiet, contemplative nature of this service, but I've also come to treasure the times when we come together, when we step back and celebrate the community we're building. This balance between the inward and the outward has been a big part of my journey here at St. James. It was the inward that drew me first. I vividly remember the autumn evening when I first walked up these steps just a few minutes before 6 p.m. Truthfully, it had taken me a while to work up the nerve. I live in the neighborhood and walk past this building several times each week, and I felt the pull, but I also felt some self-consciousness about that pull. Was this a place I could enter? Could I lay claim to it? I'm the type of person who likes to be prepared, and I didn't know what preparation, if any, was needed before entering. I didn't know any scripture. I didn't know how to articulate why I was here. I was scared that someone would ask, that I would have to justify my presence. But balanced against that fear was a desire for peace. I was tired, and despite my family and friends, despite the fullness of my work and this city, I was lonely. I was uncertain about what direction I wanted my life to take. Inside of me was a yearning for stillness and quiet, for a place where I could let those feelings simply exist without judgment and without self-consciousness. It was almost exactly 3 years ago that I walked into St. James for the first time. And when I saw these candles flickering in the darkness, I felt it right away. This was a home. It had been waiting for me this whole time. Week after week, this service gave me the peace and rest I was craving. But faith can surprise you. When you return every Sunday, when you let your heart open to the stories and prayers and songs, when you begin to see the other people who also call this home, then you begin to change. I came to St. James in search of the inward, but the inward has led me outside of myself. Working in the meal program, forming new friendships, sharing stories of sadness and renewal, my private relationship with God has led me into community in a profound way. When I think of faith, I think of love. And love can be romantic and ecstatic. Love can be a candle flickering in the darkness. But love can also be challenging. Love can ask us to face our fears, to let go of our rigid notions of self. I've learned that love is always there for us, on the good days and on the bad. But I've also learned that love grows through commitment. My life changed the first day I walked through the doors of St. James, but my life continues to change every time I return. It's the stillness and silence in this space that allows me to hear what God is asking.